I haven't eaten in 18 hours. Oh. When you work out, everybody knows that carbs are energy, right? You are, I don't know why I was just punching the air. Let's freaking eat. What is going on, my friends? Welcome back to another Wednesday. It is not Wednesday. It's gonna be, well, technically today's Tuesday, but this is gonna come out on a Sunday. So welcome back to another Sunday vlog. Today, we're gonna keep it kind of short and simple, hopefully. I tend to get talking and not shut up. So here I am anyways, already rambling on. I want to talk on how I break a fast. Now, I was gonna do a whole day in the life kind of video, what I eat in a day when I am trying to cut, especially like I have a photo shoot tomorrow, so today I'm gonna kind of watch what I eat, but that doesn't change what I eat when I break my fast. So I get a lot of questions on why I break my fast the way I do, so I'm gonna kind of nerd out on every little piece and aspect. So bear with me also. I know I'm in my swim trunks, but I live at the beach. So do you expect anything less? And I'm also shirtless and basically half naked on Instagram every day of my life. So I think we can get through this in my bathing suit. But without further ado, we're gonna jump right into this. It is 12:51 p.m. I am 18 hours into my fast. I fast every day, as you know. We'll talk about that a little bit more. But before we get into it with the first item in order of business, don't forget to like this video, comment what you want to see more of. Maybe you want to see the cutting day in the life, eating, yada, yada, yada. I don't know. Let me know. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you see my videos every Wednesday, Thursday, and today, Sunday. Let's freaking eat. All right, so the first order of business here is going to be getting out all of what I'm going to be making. So bear with me as we get our ingredients out. I'm gonna go chocolate protein today with my Greek yogurt and add a little berries in there with that. A little bit of blueberries, a little bit of raspberries. I'm getting kind of switching it up because I was getting bored. And then we are also going to need my pre-made, which I made yesterday, ground beef extra lean. I'll talk about that in a second. And then I'm missing something, rice cakes. Boom, get my rice cakes out, as well as I'm actually gonna use this greens, and wow, this feels like a lot. Way more than I'm actually always do. But I guess I should put it all in front of me before, as I go out the frame, before I sit in front of the camera and ramble on about the food that I can't wait to eat because I haven't eaten in 18 hours. Oh, I forgot one last thing. Probably my favorite of everything. My bone broth. As you can tell, it's already open because I go half one day and half the next. AKA 1 cup because there's 2 serving. Wait, what? This actually says there's 1 container, 1 serving. Anyways, need the bone broth. All right, I'm gonna do a little organizing here as I get into this so it makes it a little easier because, I mean, this is just a kind of a mess right now. So, boom, rice cakes, candle, boom, 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 Greek yogurt, and here we go. I'm gonna need a glass. So, first order of business, and this is what I do every single day. I go with the Kettle and Fire bone broth. I go a cup on each, and this is the lemongrass and what? Lemongrass and ginger beef. So, if you want to get into the details of ginger, lots of benefits, but I go with the Kettle and Fire because it tastes good by itself. You can use it for like recipes and soups and stuff. If you want to try it, use code Nick Walker Fitness. You get like 20% off. This stuff's expensive, but it's so worth it, especially if you're into the fasting lifestyle, to kind of break your fast. So, and I should also say, this is how I break my fast, and there's little details and intricacies that, like for example, you should not break a fast with protein or with carbs and fats mixed together. You should go protein and carbs or protein and fats, depending on your goals. I personally go higher protein, higher carbs to start my fast, and this should be a little meal. Now, I'm a big guy, so the first meal is pretty big. It's not that big, but in relatively, and I'm also gonna say, the video that I did for my breakfast every day, which we can put up in the corner somewhere, is different than, that's my breakfast. So I break my fast with this meal, and then I wait 60 to 90 minutes for my breakfast every day, which is my biggest meal. And that's a really good meal for putting on muscle. Anyways, I'm talking too much. I told you I wasn't gonna talk that much. So we're putting the, whatchamacallit, 1, 2, 3, a minute and 30 seconds in there on the kettle and fire. Now let's talk about the benefits for bone broth. Bone broth, especially to break the fast, take that in first because it's gonna coat your gut mucosal layer. It's basically gonna say, hey body, it's time to eat, and we're warming you up. So not only is it warmed up, but it's getting the microbiota and your microbiome kind of going. So it's also high in collagen protein. It is pure grass-fed, so you can't find any better bone broth. And the collagen protein is going to help with your skin, hair, nails, joints, everything. This is not an advertisement. It's just like I'm super passionate about the freaking bone broth. I can't say enough about the benefits for your gut microbiome as well, because your gut is your second brain. There's so much research on that, and I'm not going to get into that. But that's our kettle and fire. I'm going to wait on the bone broth to get out of the microwave. And we are ready. Bring it on. Oh my gosh, I look forward to this every day. Look at the little steam. All right, so I'm gonna sip on that to kind of get the fast broken a little bit as we get into making everything else. Now, the next thing I always do is heat up my extra lean ground beef. I get the 96% lean, 4% fat from Trader Joe's. That's like $4.99. Now, my biggest gripe there is it's not grass-fed, but it's still extra lean. And to break a fast, we want as lean of a protein as possible. So ground beef, ground bison, ground turkey is pretty good. Or the best, if you want to go a little bit higher on your fats, is cod. Cod is going to be your moneymaker. I just do this. I literally make the package. It's from, like I said, Trader Joe's, which is right here. I bought like 5 of them the other day. And I make one the day before, and then eat half a pound, put the other half a pound over here, heat it up for a minute and 30 seconds. That's the next thing. That will just be ready for me to go. Next, I will set up my rice cakes, and there's all a meticulous order on this. Remember, there's the way we break our fast is kind of a science, because we're kind of introducing different things in our body that's gonna spark different processes. So with the rice cakes, I will go with my kettle and fire bone broth, sip on that, make sure that's done. Then after that, I will put my greens into my stomach. I will go with some kind of pre or probiotic fiber and add a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in there as well. So why the apple cider vinegar? The apple cider vinegar is actually going to help control the glucose spike. So I just go 1 tablespoon of this. I do 2 tablespoons and a tablespoon of honey at night, actually. So essentially what this is doing is clothing our carbs, and as well as the fiber, eating your veggies first, it's going to basically help control your insulin spikes. And without getting too nerdy, the insulin spikes are essentially what make us gain weight and cause unhealthy blood pressure, and really, if you want to get down to it, cause the majority and bulk of long-term disease. If you want to read a little bit more about this, I suggest a girl named Jessie Inchospe. I don't know how to say her last name, but her name is Glucose Goddess, as I get interrupted by the microwave. Gonna pull that one out. And she has a book called Glucose Revolution that I highly recommend. So, where was I? Greens and water and apple cider vinegar. I'm gonna put some water in here. Oh wow, Nick, this is such a cool shot. Woohoo, just stirring my greens. Oh yeah. So I think I should also mention the greens I usually take is, I think the camera was just like pointed at the ceiling. The greens I usually take are athletic greens, which in my opinion are the best. With the ingredients wise, they don't taste as good as the ones that I'm taking right now, which is from a different company, but I also just like to try different greens because I think they're so essential, especially because the majority of our population doesn't get enough greens in their daily diet. So you're gonna introduce pre and probiotic fibers, you're gonna introduce different kinds of bacteria to help your gut microbiome. It's just gonna be an overall really good supplement to add to your diet no matter what greens powder it is. So normally I take athletic greens. This one I'm just kind of trying. I'm catching this video in the middle of trying a new one right now just to see how I respond. It tastes pretty good, but still bang for the buck is probably the athletic greens. All right, so now that this is mixed up, again, I'm not gonna drink it yet. You don't have to be too crazy meticulous like I am, especially if you're new to fasting, but I will eat that, or I will drink that after I'm done sipping on my kettle and fire bone broth. So where I also was, before we get into the last ingredient here, we're pretty much almost done here. I've only talked for like 700 minutes already, but now is just the rice cakes. So the rice cakes are my favorite part of it, and it's my favorite thing to talk about because a lot of people will say that rice cakes aren't that great. And while I agree, they're not honestly the best thing to just like always be snacking on. I mean, they are because they're good energy, but essentially if you want to get into the whole idea around whole grains or whatever, your opinion as you will. But for me, my preferred method of breaking my fast after I go bone broth, greens, I go straight to a rice cake. And why would I want to spike my insulin as soon as I break my fast? Well, for me, I'm more of an anabolic lifter, right? I'm trying to keep my body lean and always build muscle. So, and essentially we should always all be trying to build muscle because it burns fat and it jacks up your metabolic rate. So, but what rice cakes are literally rice that's puffed up. So that air, when you eat a rice cake, that air is essentially kind of triggering more bodily responses so that not only can the glucose be taken in more effectively to your muscles that are craving it, and which, by the way, when you're fasting, you're inducing something called autophagy, which is where your cells get eaten, right? And there's a lot of benefits to that. Excuse me. Wow, I just burped in the middle of a word. And bone broth. And that insulin spike is initially going to be really good because our muscles are looking for that glucose, because when you work out, everybody knows that carbs are energy, right? You are, I don't know why I was just punching the air, but the workouts are going to deplete those glucose levels. So rice cakes will be directly after the bone broth and the greens. Next up is our Greek yogurt. All right, take a good hard look at this because it is Greek yogurt and it is plain and it is 0% milk fat. Now check this out. Let's rotate this guy. Only 110 calories, 0 fats, 7 grams of carbs, and 17 grams of protein. That is some really, really good macros. Not to mention, Greek yogurt and yogurt in general is high in prebiotic fiber. So that's also going to help our gut. It's going to be even more for that gut to brain connection, right? So this is one of my favorites, not only to break my fast and whatever, but it's also a good treat. All right, that's enough of looking at this yogurt thing. All right, so for the Greek yogurt, I always go 1 serving size. Pay attention to your serving sizes on the cup. I'm actually out right here, and I know that I'm on my last one, so I know it's going to be 2/3 of a cup. I put that in my bowl, and this is where it gets fun, and where I really, excuse the loudness. Okay, so the fun part about this snack is really, I don't know what I'm saying right now. All I was gonna say was the idea that this is one of my favorite ways to cure a sweet tooth, because it's so good in macros, and it's really, there's just so many benefits to Greek yogurt. Now that's the end of that, so I'm gonna throw that highly prized possession away. But where it gets fun is where I was going, is by putting protein powder in it. Now, generally, I don't really like Greek yogurt. It has kind of that tangy, sour taste, right? If you just eat it. I don't love that flavor. But when you put protein powder, I don't care what well, that's not true. I've tried different protein powders in it. Performance is honestly has mixed the best that I have found. Use code NICK30 if you want 30% off here, because that's literally, I think it makes a bag like $12 with my code. But with most proteins, they sometimes can be chalky. I don't know. This one is, we're going chocolate today. So be careful when you mix this in. I always want to talk about this on my Snapchat story because it's super hard to actually get in. I feel like I should put it up to the camera. I don't know. It's going to be really hard in front of the camera. But I kind of like scoop the sides here and kind of just let it feather in, fold in. If I was in culinary school, I'd probably say it was folded. And just kind of let it all get in there, and then stir like you freaking mama made ya. Now, I'm going chocolate today. It kind of makes it taste like chocolate pudding. Not that you care, but usually I'll go vanilla. I was just feeling chocolate today. So we're gonna go chocolate, and I'm gonna add my fruit here. Now, if I was suggesting to somebody that was just starting fasting, I'd probably say hold off on this one. I would probably say go your rice cakes and your lean protein. Now, I do this because I like the berries, and I'd rather have my glucose spike with the berries right after my fast, because I want to utilize that fructose a little bit more. So my kind of ideal on, or my standard on fruit is to eat it 30 minutes before or after a workout. Now, I'll probably go on a walk or something right after I eat this and use kind of what I eat. So now I add a half cup of raspberries and a half cup of blueberries, whatever it is, just a cup of fruit. All right, here we are. So you should have some nice little consistency here. Oh, I'm excited to eat. I always get really excited to eat this. And then you'll add your cup of berries. Wow, look how intricate and beautiful that looks. If that's not a freaking work of art, I don't know what is. Oh. So now we have our lineup, and the finishing touch here is the cinnamon. I'm gonna throw some cinnamon on here. If you didn't know, and if you don't follow me on Snapchat, because I put little tips like this all the time on my Snapchat, at Nicky_Waka, NICKY_WAKA, like Waka Flocka Flame. Anyways, cinnamon has a thermogenic effect. What does thermogenic mean? It means fat burning. So I put cinnamon on everything. Now, it's also kind of a sweet tooth craving killer, which is also why I always do this. This is a great sweet tooth killer snack if you are looking for muscle building snacks, right? Ugh. Anyways, so the macros here, when you add the protein, you get like 38 grams of protein, like not even, I think it's 8 grams of carbs, maybe 1 gram of fat, depending on what you're getting from the berries, right? So I'm glad I explained the cinnamon too, because I put it on my rice cakes just to not eat plain rice cakes. But if you want to put peanut butter on them, now you're mixing fats and carbs. I don't recommend that when you break a fast. A rice cake is also a really good sweet tooth kicker with like a banana, peanut butter, honey, and cinnamon. in the middle of your day. So here is your final lineup. Wow, this lighting is pretty incredible right now. So as you can see, I've already sipped down my bone broth. The next thing I will sip down is my greens. Then I will eat my rice cakes. Then my lean proteins. And then I'll put in more proteins, a little bit of gut benefits, and sugars at the end. Let's talk on why sugars at the end, no matter what meal it is. Also, I was just realizing, hi Juju. Hi there, Juju. Juju. Hi, buddy. I was realizing this candle is pretty hilarious. It's on my birthday. It's just an everyday candle. Anyways. Oh my goodness, I get so excited when it's time to eat. No, I said it was a big meal. For me, it's still not a big meal. You're probably intaking not even, 400 calories here? Like, maybe? So, and like I said, if you are new to fasting, that 16-hour window is great to start off with. Try it for 2 days. Excuse me, another burp of bone broth. And 8 hours off. Try to plan it to where you can sleep for part of your fast. I usually go anywhere. I have my last bite at 7:30 p.m. and it's now 1:30, but depending on how much, literally the longer I go fasting, the more sharp I become and more creative I feel. It's actually kind of a weird thing if you can get past it the first few times. So I'm gonna go ahead and dig in. Actually, I need to drink my greens with my apple cider vinegar first. That one kind of has like a peach mango taste to it. Now, like I've talked about the order already. All I was gonna say is the reason why you go carbs, so with any meal, I'll just give you a little tip to end this thing. You want to eat your veggies first, your protein second, and proteins and fats second, and then any starches or sugars at the end. And it all comes back to that idea of controlling your glucose. So that's why I go with the fruit at the very end, and it's kind of a little like chocolatey dessert. Sometimes most of the time it's vanilla-y. But that said, I'm gonna dig in, spike glucose a little, and then dig into my ground beef with turmeric and salt and cinnamon on everything else. And as you can tell, it was all terrible. It's a pretty weird meal to eat, especially people see it and they're like, what the heck are you doing, dude? But there's a science behind it all, and it's actually enjoyable to me. Like, I could live off of ground meat. All right, I'm talking too much. So let's wrap this freaking thing up. All right, my friends, so that is all I have for you today. I probably went a little longer than I anticipated, but I hope you were able to take some kind of nuggets about fasting in general, especially if you're looking to get into fasting, or just take a little bit of the bits and pieces that I included on an insight on why, right? So just another fun Sunday, knowledgeable video, I guess we could call it. Next Sunday should be garage makeover part 2. It's been a long time coming, but I'm pretty pumped to get that sauna and cold plunge set up and redo the garage entirely. And then we'll get into some more food challenges and day in the life type stuff with some upcoming updates. So again, I appreciate you watching. I hope you took something away and took some kind of value. I'm gonna stop talking now. I could just hang out with you guys forever. And Juju. Anyways, have an awesome freaking day, and don't forget to smile.